G'day, I'm Ash and welcome back to War Thunder. Now, it's been a little while since I've done a video on War Thunder. I've sort of been taking a little bit of a break and just to reevaluate some things about War Thunder itself. Mainly because I find myself burning out on this game and I'm playing it a little too much. Now recently I've been playing the absolute shit out of the Challenger 1. This is my first game that I've had in it and it's been sitting on the hard drive for a little while. But you know what, it's still kind of relevant because, you know, I want to talk about tanks and why I really don't like playing them. It's a mixture of things, really. One is the gameplay and economy between the various modes, including aviation, and aviation hasn't really changed in 3 years, apart from maybe enduring confrontation and then new shinies, as I explained in War Thunder's future video that I did. The other is the community and its elitist attitude towards small minorities of people saying, oh, this game mode's better over this game mode, and forcing an attitude on you, and then also installing a mental idea that because they play this game mode, they're inferior to you, kind of thing. Not only does this community feel more divided because of the elitism and the growing internal disputes on the forums between the moderators and the community, and the disconnect between Gaijin and its player base, it just feels off. So everyone needs to chill the fuck out and actually get on with just enjoying the game that War Thunder is. I don't care what game mode you want to play. You can play realistic battles, you could play arcade battles, you could go play enduring confrontation, or maybe you just play events. I don't care. Elitism needs to stop because it's fucking dividing the game even further, and the last thing we need is a extremely toxic community, which is already happening, dividing us even further. And this is also causing several issues because there's been a little bit of a disconnect. While War Thunder has tried, and the developers at Gaijin have tried actively to try and contact their community and keep in touch with the loyal fan base, at the same time there's a little bit of a disconnect between what the community wants, what the content creator wants, and what Gaijin's ultimate end goal for War Thunder is. And I think this is a big distinction people don't really understand, despite the fact that War Thunder was released last year. Despite the fact that War Thunder is now technically officially out of open beta, it's still got similar problems to what it had 3 years ago. It's the constant addition of new vehicles that has caused the high on a 6-year neglect of the game that has brought about all issues that Gaijin have seemed to overlook, especially when it comes to economy, to balancing, to repair cost, to RP gain, just a general balancing of every vehicle when they come into the game. I tell you this, when I was playing tanks, when the French Nation came out, the French Tech Tree, absolutely fantastic. I don't think I've ever had so much fun playing tanks, and I'm not a tanker. I tell you why. The current meta is sort of, you've got to have a good gun, you've got to have decent armor, and you've got to have a lot of mobility, because getting those capture points is what earns you the RP. What about those tanks that have more of a defensive focus, like the Archer? Or perhaps are a little bit slower, like the Panthers, or the King Tiger? You know, certain vehicles aren't really suited for the role of, oh hey, let's go jump into a cap. But you can't because you're too slow and you've got vehicles that are outperforming other vehicles. That's not to say it's a bad thing. But why are the maps designed in such a way that it's only favouring other types of vehicles? Then we've got the other issue. People aren't queuing for high tier aircraft that much. Yeah, sure you get games in tier 4, but how long was the average queue time? Sure, at peak time on weekends and during European and American prime time, the player numbers seem to be higher. But I play at a prime time where all the player base is basically either asleep, at work, at school, or not really doing much. On average, when it is Australian evenings, around about 4 till about 11 PM, the player base is at an all-time low of around 15,000 players, and there's only like 700 or thereabouts battles going on. And so while everybody's arguing about the precise numbers of player attention in War Thunder, Maybe instead of arguing about those numbers, maybe Gaijin could implement a system that would encourage new players to join and stick around beyond the first few tiers of planes and tanks. Because here's the thing, changing subject again, aviation in War Thunder is dead. Why is it dead? Ranks 1, 2 and 3, perfectly fine. Rank 4, you'll get matches. Rank 5 is pretty much dead and is full of people who are just really good at the game. People who play really well and do fantastically at higher tier. How do we encourage newer players to, well, continue playing at higher tiers? And with War Thunder's recent addition to sort of nerf the earnings for playing higher tier tanks, for example, increasing the shell costs and the repair costs, have just made the game just a lot worse, in my opinion. Yet the consistent theme that I'm seeing over various videos from many content creators and over Reddit and on the forums is that players cry out for fixes over new content, and rightly so. And then let Gaijin completely off the hook by demanding new content in the next breath. And then of course everybody is hyped for the next patch because, oh look, a new shiny. Yet we're somewhat distracted by the fact that there's a new shiny, that nothing has actually happened to the base game to actually improve, well, the well-being of the whole entire community. And when I mean that, I mean economy fixes, BR changes, maybe expanding the BR bracket to accommodate for, you know, a little more balance. It would definitely be a help if some of the top tier stuff wasn't such a huge grind to get through. Considering that tanks is, well, it's an absolute pain. Even though they did reduce some of the RP cost for some of the vehicles, it still isn't quite there. See, Gaijin have a free-to-play model, and they can force people to pay money if, well, if the grind is taking too long. And at the moment, the current player base is playing mainly tanks. This isn't a bad thing, but as every business, company, or corporation, they have to make money. Gaijin knows this, and they know the mainstay of their population on War Thunder at the moment is tanks. And if you go even further than that and delve into it a little more, you look at the most of the War Thunder videos that have been uploaded within the last month or so, and notice that everything is primarily or mainly talking about tanks, excluding the War Thunder Chronicles event. Many of the other content creators out there publishing content for War Thunder have just been covering tanks because it's easier to do, it's easier to get gameplay. But this is something that isn't new. I may be giving a lot of shit towards War Thunder right now, but I truly think it is a fantastic game. And it really does deserve a chance to grow, and a chance to really excel in the wonderful game that its core mechanics sets out to be. Sure, there are a lot of problems with War Thunder currently, but War Thunder is definitely a great game, even if you have played it for 6 years, although I kind of wish it was back in the day when I used to have a lot more fun, playing with various people, talking to various people. There are so many people that I know who have left War Thunder at this point in time, and many of these people who were seeking a core experience that War Thunder was giving them have moved on to better and bigger games. DCS, IL-2, Cold Waters, Arma 3, Squad, you know, various elements of other games that do things a lot better. As a veteran player, and speaking for many other veteran players who have played the game for many years, we hoped for a game that was accommodating everything that we wanted and hoped for, a game that excited us every time we booted it up, a game that didn't feel so repetitive, that had some dynamic feel to the game itself, and ultimately was fun just to play casually, even if you didn't really want to grind everything really hardcore. Because at its current core state, War Thunder definitely needs to change. It's got a lot of room for improvement, but it's still a fantastic fucking game. But as always, lads, thank you very much for watching. Please let me know what you thought of this video in the comments down below. It's been a while since I've done a bit of a discussion-y video, and I thought it was about time that I opened the floor again, because there are a lot of other games out there at the moment that are really catching my attention. Anyway, thank you very much to the Patrons for supporting this channel. My name's Ash, and I'll catch you in the next one.